Hey friends, it's Barbara Jones, your allergenity advisor, and it's my goal to create a world of food allergy inclusion. Today, I just want to talk about the practicality of managing food allergies. I'm finding that there seems to be a lot of angst about things that we can't control. And it's quite interesting. The dynamic is quite interesting. We know about our food allergies, but yet there are some people who still seem to find it so begrudgingly that their food allergies are not included in everyday life. And I think it's time for us to do a temperature check about this. It is easier to navigate the world when you accept your food allergy and you accept the reality around it and what you can do within the scope of your food allergies. There are medical advances that are taking place every day, it seems, right? In the past several months, we have seen an injection-free epinephrine device get created. We've learned about a sublingual epinephrine that could be coming down the pike soon. There's so many different wonderful and amazing treatments and therapies out there. That means we're in a space where there is still development, there's still growth, there's still discovery, and there is still learning. So when we have these expectations that we should be included in everything, reality is that is not the norm. It's not the norm because our allergies are not the norm. Does that mean that we live our lives in anger and frustration? The point is, we need to be reasonable with what our expectations are. And the biggest reason for that is because if you're always walking around in a state of frustration, of anger, of combativeness, because these things won't change and shift to suit your needs, what does that mean for your quality of life? You have to be okay with the fact that you have food allergies. You have to be okay with it. How do you find acceptance? It very well may be that you need to get therapy to come to a place of acceptance of your food allergies. That's hard. That's hard. Acceptance of your food allergies can be hard. You may be able to outgrow some allergies. As you age, you may develop new allergies. You may get rid of old allergies. With food allergies, in some way, shape, or form, they will be present. So how do we live an empowered and overcoming life with them? And that's what I'm here to help you do. Sometimes we're not talking enough. We're not taking a moment to feel our feelings enough. I'm a mother of two food allergic children, and I completely understand the challenges. I've endured said challenges with developing intolerances. I have an allergy to something now. I don't know what it is. Still trying to figure that out, right? It's no fun. We can overcome food allergies every day with our attitude and our behavior. That is the first thing that we must get a handle on. We have to get a handle on our emotions. I recommend that if you have food allergies and you're having a difficult time managing those food allergies, you're having a difficult time dealing with it, I strongly recommend that you journal. Write it down. You have to get it out. And I completely understand not having anybody to talk to have this conversation with. I understand that. Write it down. If you're not the type of person that writes, get an audio journal and just speak it into your phone and then delete it if you want to. You can save it, you can delete it. The premise and the point of it is to get it out. Speak it out loud, get it out of your system so that way you can get into a space of acceptance. Because once you get into a space of acceptance, then you're more readily able to receive recommendations and suggestions that will be empowering and fulfilling and exciting. They really can be. They really will be. The world is an amazing place. The world is, food is amazing. And sometimes we limit ourselves because we don't think outside the box. We're not asking questions. We're not considering alternatives. We're just simply not considering alternatives because we've never done it before. We've never broken routine. That's okay too. We can help educate people by being aware of ourselves and advocating for ourselves. And this is how you overcome the challenge of managing your food allergies practically. We want people to be proactive for us, but we're not being proactive. I was in a daycare and they were giving the kids goldfish crackers. And they had a stipulation that you couldn't bring any external snacks in case kids had food allergies. So I'm like, oh, well, that kind of sucks because my son is allergic to fishy crackers. So now we need to have a discussion. Well, I emailed the director of the facility and she called me and we had an amazing conversation. And I gave some suggestions for gluten-free, dairy-free, lactose-free, allergy-free snacks that they could use instead of goldfish crackers. And guess what? It worked. They adopted that as a policy. And that was a first for me. That really was a first for me. And I was so excited. I was so excited and I was really happy that they heard me, they listened. I felt so valued in that moment where they said, we apologize. We had no idea. And that's the truth. They didn't have any idea because until somebody brings it to your attention, you won't. And that was a win for us. That was a win for us. But had I just walked away stewing in my anger, I wouldn't have been able to verbalize and share and express what could be done. I was able to not just come to them with complaints, but I was able to come to them with a solution, suggestions, ideas, things that can be done in place of this. And if they're expressing that they have a willingness to minimally hear me, oh, that's a win all by itself. Because many places don't even want to hear it. I've been to restaurants where waiters didn't even want to stand there long enough for me to read off the list of allergens that we had at the table. Those places we avoid because they're more concerned with getting food out of the kitchen and less concerned with how that food is going to affect me as a customer. So I avoid those places. I avoid those places even if I can eat there. We want to make sure we're treating all of our customers with dignity and kindness and respect. And yes, it gets busy. And yes, I know all about rush hour and, needing to make sure you are properly staffed, you're not wasting time, and all of the above. Your food allergic customers are just as important and valuable as those who can eat whatever they want. Got food allergies? Now what? At Allergenity Advisors, we help you manage food allergies in your life or business. Visit our website at allergenityadvisors.com, subscribe to our mailing list, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So, here are a few things that you can do right now, today, to help if you're having a difficult time accepting your food allergies or the food allergies of someone that you care for. The first thing you want to be aware of is ego and entitlement. Those are two things that will be a danger for you in this space. Having too much ego and having tons of entitlement will have you thinking that everything revolves around you. Everything is a discussion. Things need to be talked out, and No, we're not entitled to telling people how to manage their spaces. We can suggest, we can recommend, but at the end of the day, when we step into other people's spaces, whether it's restaurants, people's homes, schools, work, it's up to us to communicate what our needs are and dialogue to see how open those spaces are for us. So if you are feeling lots of angst and you're feeling like, they should be doing this, they should be doing that, it may be bordering on the line of ego and it may be bordering on the line of entitlement. So we'll need to cut that off immediately. Now, once that's out of the way, the next thing I would recommend is therapy. If you are having a difficult time accepting your food allergies, the number one pathway to talk it out would be to go to therapy. There are food allergy therapists out here and psychotherapists that can help you manage your situation. There are people who do accept their allergies, but they are in a family that doesn't accept their allergies. And so that I'm actually going to do a video about that, but that's a big, big issue. And therapists really can come in handy in that space to help empower you with some skills to deal with those stubborn individuals that don't accept your food allergy. So definitely consider therapy. The next thing is journaling. Write it down. Write it down, get it out. Don't keep it bottled up. Give yourself space and time to write out your feelings and your thoughts. If you're not the type of person who likes to write, you can, of course, record an audio. You can delete it right after you record it if you want to. You can save it, go back and listen to how you were feeling on the respective days. You can journal or do an audio journal and share that with your therapist if you choose to go to therapy. So there are lots of different ways now that you can journal. And so I would recommend journaling to get the feelings out of your system. And that way you can make space for better feelings and better emotions. The next thing is learning to communicate. You need to make sure you're sharing what your needs are. People can't read our minds. They don't know what we need. So the best way to do that is to tell them. We have to tell people what our needs are, and we have to give it a beat so we can listen. We have to wait and listen and continue to have an exchange of dialogue. Now, some people may find this to be stressful. And so if you're more of an introverted person and you don't like the direct confrontation of speaking, I would recommend sending an email. Can you send an email? Can you write a letter? But you have to take the initiative to make the contact. I prefer calling over or having a dialogue in person over sending an email, simply because you can answer questions right on the spot. You can dialogue a little bit better with the person live than you can in an email where you kind of have to wait for a response before you can answer a question. So learn to communicate. Learn to share what your needs are. And here are some empowering words that you can use. These are my needs. You can express, I have food allergies and these are my needs. Are you able to accommodate? I'm allergic to XYZ. Are you able to accommodate my condition? In communicating, especially if it's with a restaurant that tends to be a little bit busier during dinner time or breakfast, depending on where you're going, try to reach out to them before they open, before a typical meal service begins, when you're starting to get an influx of people. Generally, when that happens, you'll have more time with the owner, the manager, the maitre d', whoever is in charge of ensuring that this information gets relayed back to the kitchen. You'll have more time with that person when the restaurant is not as busy. I would avoid waiting until the end of the night to try and have these discussions, because just like everybody else, when it's time to go, when it's time to leave work, we're done. So you want to tap in when people are fresh before their day has gotten underway, and that would be a great time to connect and express what your needs are. Do you have any other recommendations or suggestions that you can share that you've experienced? Leave them in the comments, and I look forward to discussing these things with you. And don't forget to visit our website, allergenityadvisors.com, so that we can support you in your food allergy journey. Did you find this information useful? If so, give us a thumbs up and leave us a comment. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.